Hi, this is Swati, and in today's video, we'll see Euclid's geometry of class 9th. So, Euclid was a mathematician and he discovered few definitions like point, line. So, point, line, line segment, it was not discovered back then in ancient times. So, this is like a very old, chapter and discovery. So, here in this chapter, we'll see some very basic things that were discovered. So let's get started. And we'll also see what kind of question comes. The whole chapter will be covered in this one video. Let's get started. So these here are some statements that Euclid discovered, the definitions of it. So let us see. So anything which has no component is called a point. So these all definitions were discovered back in ancient times when no one knew what a point is, what a line is. So it feels very easy. This chapter is very easy to understand, and you will understand it very clearly. Anything which has no component is called a point. So point is this one, right? It has no component, means no length, no breadth, nothing. Next, a length without breadth is called a line. So here we know what a line is. This is a line. So it does not have any breadth or any thickness. So this is a line which can be extended. The end points of any line are called points, which make it a line segment. So end points means it is fixed, you cannot extend. So this is a line segment. So these are the end points. So let's say this line segment is 5 centimeter. These are the end points. You cannot extend on either side. But when coming to line, you can extend the line indefinitely on both the sides. So this is the difference between line and a line segment. Fourth, if a line lies evenly with points on itself, then it is called a straight line. Now let's say I have multiple points. Okay, so if a line lies on this, so a line is lying on this, so this is known as a straight line. Now, any object which has length and breadth only is called a surface. So now let us see this. This is an object. It has length, it has breadth. So this book is known as the surface. Now, last one, the edges of a surface are lines. Now, these are the edges. These are the edges. So this is a line, this is a line, this is a line, and this is a line. So these edges are known as a line. So I hope these points are clear. Now let's see what next we have. Axioms and postulates. So now what are axioms and postulates? Axioms are nothing but common notions which were assumptions used throughout mathematics and not specifically linked to geometry. So axioms are nothing but common notions which were assumptions which we have assumed and in throughout mathematics. Now when I read the points, what are the axioms, you will yourself understand that these are so basic things. And what about postulate? Postulates are, these assumptions are actually obvious universal truths. So postulates are nothing but universal truth. So these are, when I read the axioms and postulate, you will think that they are so easy, basic line, basic statements, everything. So let's see what are axioms first. All right. Things which are equal to same thing are equal to each other. So now let's say A equal to B and B equal to C. So therefore, A will be equal to C. So things which are equal to same thing, A is equal to B and B is equal to C. So then A will be equal to C. Now suppose I take A as 30 degrees. So B will also be 30 degrees. And then if B is 30, C will also be 30. So A and C both are 30 degrees. All right. Next, if equals are added to equals, then wholes are equal. So let me take a number 5. You have 5 on both the sides. Now, if equals are added, let's say I'm adding same thing on both the sides, plus 2 plus 2. So what do I get here? 7. And here 7. So then the wholes are also equal to each other. That means you can add equal quantities on both the sides. It does not change the question. Next, Same. If equals are subtracted from equals, the remainders are equal. Same like the previous one. Now this time it is subtraction. Let me take the same example. 5 and 5. If equals are subtracted, let me subtract 1 from both. So I get 4 and 4. Then the wholes, then the remainder that we have are equal to each other. Next, things which coincide with one another are equal to one another. Now, things which coincide with one another. Now, this is my hand and this is another hand. Like, let's say, if I take it like this. This is my one hand, this is one hand. So these coincide each other. Coincide means they look like a one hand, single hand. That means if they coincide exactly, that means they are equal to each other. Next, the whole is greater than the part. Obviously, the whole part, the whole thing will be greater than the part. Now let me take a line segment of 5 centimeter. So if I take a part of line segment, let's say from A to this point. So this part will definitely be lesser than the whole. So whole is always greater than the part. Next, things which are double of the same things are equal to each other. Now let's say angle A is equal to angle B. Things which are double of the same things. And angle C is equal to angle B. Now they are equal to the same things. Now if I take A as 30, B will be 60. So if B is if B is 60, so if A is 30, then what will angle B be? 15. Yes, it will be 15. Sorry. So if B is 15, 2 into 15, C is going to be 30. So things which are double of the same thing, then the things will also be equal. A and C will also be equal to each other. We are getting A and C to be 30 degrees. Next, same things which are halves of the same thing are equal to one another. Now let's say angle A is equal to half of angle B and angle C is equal to half of angle B again. So if I take A as 30, what will angle B be? 60. So here if B is 60, 60 by 2, C is going to be 30. So therefore, A is equal to C. Let us read again. Things which are halves of the same things are equal to one another. So A and C are halves of the same thing, halves of B. So then ultimately A and C will be equal to each other. Next. So these were axioms, very easy. These are all assumptions. You cannot prove. They are true. Now postulates, let us see postulates which are universal truth. A straight line may be drawn from one point to any other point. So let me take this point and let me take so many points over here, okay? So a straight line can be drawn from this point to this point. Many straight lines can be drawn from one point to any other point. Next, a terminated line can be produced indefinitely. Terminated line. Line is what? Which can be extended. So this can be produced indefinitely. You can extend. Next, a circle can be drawn with any center and any radius. So you can draw a circle. Suppose if you take a compass, if I, adjust the compass, if I reduce it, I'll get a circle. If I increase, so I can just change my center, radius, anywhere I'll get a circle. Now let's take this is a circle with this center. If I take this center, I can draw big circle. Or maybe I can draw small circle. So any circle can be drawn with any center and radius. Next, all right angles are equal to each other. So this is my right angle, okay? Right angle is 90. So this is my right angle. Even this is my right angle. This is my right angle. So whatever shape I take the right angle, they all will be equal to each other. Next one. Now this is very important postulate. Let's understand. If a straight line falling on two straight lines, so I have two straight lines and a straight line is falling on this. Okay, these are my two straight lines. Makes the interior angles on the same side of it taken together. So, yes, before this, I wanted to explain that this line is known as the transversal, right? Now, transversal is only the line that it cuts two parallel lines? No. Any two lines that you have and a line is cutting, so that line is known as the transversal. So basically, transversal is a line that cuts any two lines, not just parallel lines, any two lines. Now, come back to this postulate. I'll read word by word and simultaneously I will do it so that you will understand. If a straight line falling on two straight lines makes the interior angles on the same side of it. So interior angles are these. So these are the two interior angles, and even this side we have two interior angles on the same side. Taken together less than two right angles. Then the two straight lines produced indefinitely meet on that side on which the sum of the angles is less than the two right angles. So let me first explain you in easy language. So when you are having two straight lines and it is cut by one line, then the interior angles that are formed on that side. So if I produce this and if I produce this, they both meet at a point. So in that case, the two angles on the same side, interior angles, will always be less than two right angles. What are two right angles? Right angle is 90. So two right angles will be 180. So will be less than equal, less than 180 degrees. So let me reread the question. If a straight line falling on two straight lines, so T is a straight line which is falling on these two straight lines, makes the interior angles on the same side of it. So here we have two interior angles, 1 and 2, which are on the same side. Taken together, that means 1 plus 2, less than two right angles. Then the two straight lines produced indefinitely. So when I produce these two lines, they meet at a point on that side where the two angles sum is less than two right angles. So 1 plus 2 is less than 180 degrees, because when the lines are meeting, definitely the two sum will be less than 180 degree. So again, understand this, understand the solution. You can read it and you will understand it. Next, given two distinct points, there is only a unique line that passes through them. So let me take 2 points. Distinct means two different points. So there is just one unique line that passes through the 2 points. You cannot pass more than one line. Now let's say I have 2 points like this. I will just pass one unique line from it. So I can pass many lines from a single point, but a line that passes through 2 points, there will just be one line. I hope this is clear. Next, two distinct lines cannot have more than one point in common. Two distinct lines, so two different lines when intersecting cannot have more than one point in common. So when I intersect, when I cross two lines, you will only see one point in common, not more than one point. So theorem is basically, theorem means the things that have been proved, that can be proved. So this was all about Euclid's geometry, axioms and postulate, what he created, what he discovered, and it's a very scoring chapter. The questions from it will also be the same. If you know the statements, you can do the questions as well. I hope this is clear. Thank you.